All right, so we know that there are new developments in technology every single day. That's great. But how will this affect the job market and what kinds of job? Let's talk about the impact of artificial intelligence in Jamaica with career strategist at University West Indies researcher Dr. Caroline Hale. Good morning, Doc.
Good morning.
Welcome to Smile Jamaica. What exactly is your role at the University of the West Indies, by the way?
My role at University of the West Indies really has nothing to do with this. I look at tourism policy.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Right home.
Because I have the research capability, I was asked to look at artificial intelligence and the impact on careers and jobs, and that's how I wrote the article.
Yeah, and when you say artificial intelligence in this case, what we're talking about here?
We're talking about things like the digital platforms and robots and things of that. The interaction of humans with the machines, the things that machines can replace, some of the repetitive stuff that we do. Can't replace us, but
give me an example of a job that was taken by a robot.
Well, recently the article started with the banks. Yeah. Some of the frontline positions have actually gone because they now have remote intelligence where you can speak to somebody who's far off, and the machines, you go in the banking hall now, you can do all you want without talking to anybody. So that's here, it's real.
Yeah, and you don't have to pay those machine health or anything else. I mean, even closer to our own field, you have radio stations that run without anybody there. Once you program, you're good to go. So you spoke about the banks. 200 workers were laid off from NCB most recently. And you are saying that this is something that will continue. You're saying by 2019, we could really see an impact.
Well, yes and no, because one of the things that the research is showing is that it's not uniformed. Some countries are more advanced than others. Some jobs are more likely to go in that direction than others. But there is still opportunity for people. What we need to be aware of is what portion of our job could be automated, and then we have to prepare ourselves against that. They're saying too that 60% of all occupations, of the 60% of all the occupations, 30% of those, there's a part of that job, 30% of the job that can be automated. So look at what you're doing and say, can a machine do this more effectively and more productively than I can? Now remember, humans still have emotional intelligence, and they have not yet figured out a lot about our brains. So we have a way to go before they can actually replace us, which they never will be able to do, although they're trying. So anything with emotional intelligence in the health field, for example, even in the school system, they're showing that you need to look at the ecosystem for education, the learning tools that you're doing, the subjects that you're exposing the students to. Interestingly enough, things like STEM, which I was just looking at before I came in here. STEM is critical in this area. Your area of media too. Yep.
Does it also mean that a young person coming out of university or actually going into university, having looked at what you just said we should be looking at, would decide, say, you know, I'm not going to go into that field then, because in a couple of years they're probably not going to need me there?
Well, it would be wise for them to make those kinds of decisions and look at them, or say, if I go into this field, maybe I'll do it short term, pick up some experience that I can move on to something else. Because you have to learn somewhere. So it's good to learn on the lower level jobs. One of the biggest impacts, though, that's going to happen is that a lot of the jobs are going to become so routine that there are going to be pressure on the wages. So some of the jobs that people are doing now and getting a good wage for, you're going to become low level jobs. And the people who are really into the high tech, those are the ones that are going to be making big money.
A huge paradigm shift that's coming.
Huge paradigm shift, and so we have to be ready for it.
I hear you talk about STEM, and I hear us talk about logistics hubs and the training and so on, but some of the folks who are going into the skills-based things are at risk as well, because a lot of that stuff that's done at the hub, the putting together of the this and the assembly of the that, that's something that robots will be, or automation will be able to take care of.
Yes, in some fields, but in other fields, for example, I did a customer service training the other day for the hospital, and they were very keen that I should make sure that people understood the distinction between customer service in a hospital setting and general customer service. In fact, it's not customer service in a hospital setting at all. It's therapeutic relationships, because what they're saying, empathy is the most important thing. And in the hospital setting, you have to be able to put yourself in somebody else's shoes and to empathize with them, and that's what people need. So there's some fields that's what's going to be most important. And interestingly enough, this is the emotion that we need to build in the society now, where we become our brother's keepers. So you see how it's evolving, that we're going now into an era we actually have to be looking out for other people, because that's what's going to pay you.
Your article suggests, and this is not coming necessarily from you, but there are 9 areas that policymakers to prepare for the impact of artificial intelligence. 1, evolve education systems and learning for a changed workplace.
Yes.
I think those are the areas we have up there now.
Yes.
You agree with these?
I agree with some of them. I was just looking at them again a while ago because they're interesting. For example, they were saying that the ecosystem for education, there's a whole ecosystem there that we're not looking at. Some of the soft skills, some of the emotional intelligence, simple things from the primary level, learning to play. You were talking about your dogs, learning to play with dogs, caring for younger children, and it brings out that emotional side, and machines can't replace that. When you look at it, also they're saying the private sector should be working with the education system so that they can understand what is coming, what kind of machines do, how do we train people in order to work alongside those machines, and what are the new jobs that will be created. So it's quite fascinating. So the policymakers need to start looking forward. Don't wait until it happens to you. You need to think now, because the other thing that they're saying, you have about 20 years lead time, because as I said earlier, that the developed and the developing world, it's uneven. So some countries will move ahead before others. It'll take about 20 years before 50% of the entire world will be working with artificial intelligence. But there's an ecosystem around the artificial intelligence which will still provide jobs for others.
Is this competence-based, or? It's
competence-based.
Or them just try to save some money and don't want to pay me, so them...
That too.
Well, that too. Because one of the interesting things that the research shows is that some companies would actually do the cost benefit to see whether is it cheaper for me to keep the human or put a machine in. And it may work out that the human is far more cost effective than the machine. So it is, but they're looking really at productivity.
But so it is competence-based.
It is competence-based.
For the most part.
It is.
What I find interesting is that they're making machines now, robots now, who are equipped to feel, judge, make determinations. So the world is really changing.
It's really changing.
So I got to get to retirement.
I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out. And you kind of answered it, because I'm looking at you and I'm trying to figure out whether you agree with all this or you don't. Give me a personal opinion here. What do you think?
I agree with it, because there's opportunity. The world is evolving, and you have to move with it.
You better.
So the important thing is critical thinking and being able to plan ahead. And so that's really the issue, to be able to see judge your environment, see what's happening, scan it, and plan for it. So don't just sit back and wait for it to happen to you.
And I guess you need to start that from in school.
From the
So for the folks who are looking for a job, or for the folks who are in jobs now and they're wondering, could this happen to me? You need to start making a plan.
It could happen to you, yes. You need to start looking around, reading, seeing what's happening, listening to podcasts, watching YouTube, see what's happening, and then, so where do I fit in? Where are my skills? What can I improve? And some of the skills that you can acquire, the soft skills, it doesn't cost you anything.
Fantastic.
Please and thank you.
Do you see the day of a robot presenter?
No, I doubt very much. I don't know your personality.
Maybe they can be programmed, you never know.
We're all right for the next couple of days.
Yes.
Thanks for coming.
For now.
Have a great day. Career strategist and you a researcher, Dr. Carolyn Hale.
All right, folks, more on Smile, but first, news, hopefully never